During this year's 89th legislative session, Texas lawmakers passed a staggering 107 new laws specific to public education, far more than we usually see in a typical session. Some of these new laws have already been put into effect, and they require school districts to meet specific requirements or put up brand new procedures in place starting on the very first day of school. In this video, I will walk you through the biggest changes you can expect for the upcoming 2025 to 2026 school year, what they mean for students, and how we can respond. Let's start with the one that's been trending in conversation lately, the so-called phone ban. House Bill 1481 prohibits the use of cell phones and other electronic communication devices during the school day. Now, Mansfield ISD, for example, already had a somewhat similar policy, but this statewide law takes it much further than anything MISD has done before. Phones and other personal devices, and yes, that includes laptops, tablets, smartwatches, pagers, or anything else that connects to the internet, must be completely out of sight for the entire school day. That means that they need to stay in a backpack, tote bag, or something similar. The school day has been defined as starting on the first period bell and ending when the last class period is dismissed. You cannot store your phone in a pocket, hoodie, or anywhere else on your person. Under this law, you can't use your phone during lunch or passing periods anymore too. I know this feels unfair and overly strict, and right now there's no official workaround that doesn't break the rules. My only suggestion is something like an iPod, which isn't technically covered under the law in the same way, so you can at least listen to music during the day. But as far as communication and staying connected, it's going to make things a lot more difficult for students. Next up is Senate Bill 207, which surprisingly is actually a good change. It excuses student absences for mental health appointments as long as the student returns to class the same day. These absences won't count towards students for makeup work or participation requirements, which is a huge relief for anyone dealing with mental health concerns. Parents still need to submit written documentation of the appointment, just like any other health-related absence. This is one of the very few laws from this session that feels like it's actually supporting students instead of punishing them. Unfortunately, the good news stops there. Senate Bill 12 is, in my opinion, the worst bill to come out of this session. It's a massive policy addressing parent rights, DEI, curriculum transparency, gender identity, and student clubs. One of the most alarming parts, it completely bans all school clubs that are based on sexual orientation or gender identity. This means that every single high school GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, in Texas is now illegal. As the president of my high school's GSA, I take this personally. After talking with our officers and sponsor, we found a way to keep our group alive. By changing the name to something vague, for example, the Pink Pony Club, inspired by the hit song from famous queer artist Chappell Roan, we'll still be able to be the GSA behind closed doors, but we won't be able to publicly identify as one. As much as the law feels vile, and I do think it's vile, I want to stress that protesting should be the last resort. As much as I would love to publicly call out every legislator that passed this, doing so in a way that violates school policy could make things worse for students and get us into even more trouble. But Senate Bill 12 doesn't stop there. It also brings in sweeping DEI restrictions, banning any policies, procedures, training, activities, or programs that reference race, color, ethnicity, gender identity, or sexual orientation. The language here is extremely vague, which means that we don't know yet exactly how far this will go. They also made a point to say that schools are still allowed to teach Black History Month, which is good, but the fact that they felt the need to allow it is concerning. They also specifically said that schools are allowed to contract with women-owned businesses, which I honestly don't even know how to respond to, because why wouldn't they be? On top of that, they added more restrictions to sex education, but the bill doesn't actually detail what those restrictions are. Moving on to Senate Bills 10 and 11, both of which push religion directly into public schools. They require every single public school classroom to display a framed copy of the 10 Commandments. The district has to pay for these frames, and teachers are allowed to lead students in a short period of prayer or Bible reading during the school day. Now, I am a Christian myself, but I strongly believe that religion should stay far away from public education. Forcing religion on people, especially in a school setting, is not the way to promote faith. It is a way to alienate students who believe differently. House Bill 33 pushes back the deadline for law enforcement and emergency responders to file reports after a school shooting to 90 days. This may not have a direct impact on students day to day, but it is still an odd and questionable change. House Bill 4623 is another important one. It holds public schools liable if sexual misconduct happens on campus or is committed by a staff member. This is absolutely a good step towards protecting students. But here's the strange part. While most other laws go into effect on the first day of school, this one doesn't start until September 1st, which isn't a huge delay, but the choice to push it back is curious. In conclusion, when you look at these laws as a whole, it's hard to feel optimistic about the direction of Texas public education. Yes, there are a couple positive changes, like excused mental health absences and increased accountability of sexual misconduct, but those are overshadowed by these sweeping bans of student expression, new restrictions on diversity and inclusion, and the blatant mixing of religion in public schooling. The truth is, these policies will shape the daily lives of students in ways that many lawmakers will never have to experience themselves. As students, parents, and educators, we need to stay informed and aware of how these laws are enforced at the local level. Small actions matter, whether it's renaming a club to keep it alive, attending school board meetings, or speaking to representatives about the real impact these policies have. Texas students deserve schools that reflect and respect the diversity of our communities, not ones that try to erase it. Thank you so much for watching.